Welcome into your Daily Buckeye Blitz for a Monday, November 6th, 2023. Time flies when you're having fun, right? Here we are already 3/4 of the way through the freaking football season. Can't believe that shit. But anyways, hey, hit the BuckeyeCast.com. Get your Harbaugh is a cheater shirt. Get your other Beat Michigan garb gear. You're going to need it. Order that stuff soon. You got to allow like seven plus days for shipping, because this time of year, everybody's trying to ship everything everywhere. So get in there, check it out. And everything's still on sale. So appreciate you. It's the best way you can support the show and get yourself something in return. So we appreciate all of you, subscribers, followers, likers, everything, podcast viewers, all the reviews, everything. We appreciate it. So today we're talking offense. We're doing grades and stats for the offense. Tuesdays is always the defense. You guys probably have gotten long timers have probably gotten used to the pattern we're doing here during the season. We go offense, PFF grades and stats, and then defense on Tuesdays, PFF grades and stats. So let's get into it. All right. First, let's talk drives and compare the first half to the second half, because this has been kind of the MO for the Buckeyes offense this year. First half, a little clunky, a little slow going. Second half, boom, pour it on, especially later third quarter and through the fourth. So another day just like that. So first half, total yards, we put up 128, but Rutgers put up 170. So the defense allowed them to drive down the field, but then bowed up as they got into the lower red zone. But offense, we're focusing on here. Only 14 rushing attempts for 48 yards. Passes, Kyle started off hot. I think he was 11 of 11 to start the game, but they were all really, really short attempts. For the half, he was 12 of 16, had the touchdown and a pick for 80 yards. So only getting 80 yards out of 12 pass attempts is not great. But first downs, they got 9. They were 0 for in the first half on third downs, 1 for 2 on fourths. So average yards per play was only 4.3. It's not super impressive. And we were losing the time of possession because Rutgers would get the ball, run the play clock down inside of 10 seconds. And then typically they ran the ball. They ran it a lot in the first half. We had 21 rush attempts for 128. So, nope, we did have no penalties in the first half. I want to point that out. Then the second half happened. Second half, we scored 28. Remember, we scored only 7 in the first. 200 yards total in the second half. 15 rushing attempts, so almost the same number there, but a 6.1 yard average. Ran for a total of 91 yards. And then Kyle in the second half had a 7 of 10 completions. Attempts, 7 completions on 10 attempts, obviously. 2 touchdowns, 109 through the air. And on third downs, we were 6 of 7. So all these categories, all these stats flipped completely. We didn't have to go for any fourth down, so we had 0 attempts there. Yards per play was almost double. Remember, I said 4.3 in the first half. It was 8 yards per play in the second half. Time of possession didn't matter because we scored pretty quickly, and just had 1 punt in the second half. So really, again, tale of 2 halves. But let's get in here and talk about Kyle first. Started off, like I said, 11 in a row, but they were all really short passes. You got 3 yards, 10 yards, 14 yards. That was a touchdown to G. Scott. 9 yards, 4 yards, 7 yards, 0 yards, 5 yards, 6 yards, 3 yards. Now, I know a lot of people like to complain about Kyle. They call him check down Charlie, dinking and dunking down the field. Hey, if he's completing passes, I don't think you should be complaining. He's taking what the defense has given. Rutgers was playing like a two deep all day long, took away the deep balls. He physically could not push it down the field, especially if they're bracketing Marv. They covered Marv with two dudes, a safety and a corner most of the day. So for people that bitch and complain about everything Kyle does, what do you want him to do? Throw more picks, take more chances? I don't think that's going to make you happy. So I'll take a Kyle McCord that starts off a game for the first time all season, completing 11 of 11 attempts. So then he again drops Fleming, Harrison, G. Scott right here in the second quarter. These receivers are killing me. They're killing Kyle. They're hurting him. The O-line is hurting him. I'm not saying Kyle is perfect and is carrying the team, but it's hard for a guy to get comfortable if your O-line is just a sieve at times. Dudes running patterns are dropping the ball. Trey was a huge godsend for Kyle as an outlet, a dump off kind of receiver when everybody else is covered downfield. He's open right over the middle of the field with nobody around him. When you see, this is another example of the type of defense Rutgers was playing. When you see a running back like within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage and nobody's around him, that means everybody's deep. Everybody's dropping on the defense. So that tells you where they're trying to take plays away. They're trying to take away the deep balls. Okay. All right. So Kyle goes 19 of 26, 73% completion percentage. I believe that was his best for the season, completion percentage wise. 3 touchdowns, did have the bad pick where he needed to loft that one over the linebacker, 189 yards. So good, not great day. The pick, obviously is an issue, but overall, I don't have a lot of complaints with a guy that goes 11 for 11 to start off the game. A lot of people were complaining because he would start off games so slow and sluggish and making all these mistakes. But he didn't this time, He started off on fire. Now, I know, again, they were short passes, but what do you want to do? You got to pick something, man. You can't complain about everything. Well, a lot of you can, actually. Anyways, getting into Kyle's passing chart, let me share that with you. You can see where things were completed. All right. Now, when under pressure, we'll start with the chart and work around it. So just one attempt over 20 yards. Again, Rutgers was taking that deep ball away. 0 completions, of course. Medium, the 10 to 20 yard range. 3 completions on 6 attempts, 52 yards, touchdown, and that's where the pick came in. Short passes between that 0 to 10 yard range, 15 of 17. So again, that's where most quarterbacks are going to be most successful, with the short, easy throws. 134 yards, 2 touchdowns there. So, and then you also had the huge play to Trey. Don't forget about that one. That was a short pass. And then 1 of 1 behind the line of scrimmage. I think that was a little swing pass that was blown up. So anyways, he kind of moved it around the field. They worked different regions, different sides. Short left was 4 for 4. Short center, 7 of 9. Short right, 4 for 4. Made his big money on that, the big play to TreVeyon Henderson. He had over 100 yards in that short center field area. Now, when being blitzed, this is what threw me for a loop. I thought that Rutgers would come out and blitz the shit out of Kyle. Not so much. He only had 8 attempts when he was blitzed out of 26. 8 attempts he was blitzed, 5 he completed. So he torched them for 62.5%, just 27 yards. But he did, when blitzed, scored the 2 touchdowns. Keep that in mind. They picked up the blitz, by the way. When under pressure from the front 4 only, he was 4 of 6 for 67%, 22 yards. So one of those touchdowns was when he was under pressure. So again, when he's kept clean, 75%, 167 yards, 2 touchdowns, and the 1 pick again. Get rid of that. So all in all, not bad. Did have the 1 sack. The O-line has to clean things up. 2 drops, at least. I counted 3 or 4, but whatever. Play action, the Buckeyes didn't use a ton. They had 8 dropbacks with play action only, and had 5 completions for 35 yards and a touchdown. So a lot of non-play action type stuff. So let's get into, where do you want to go? Let's go receiving. Let's talk receiving here. Where to go? Oh, there we go. Okay. So Tre obviously put up the most yards. He was the MVP of the offense, obviously led in rushing and receiving. He had 128. Well, that's rushing. Yeah, we'll go to rushing. 22 attempts, 128, 1 touchdown, a long of 27. Nice 5.8 yard average. Tre got it done, man. And what I love about what he did Saturday was he only had 3 rushes for negative yards out of 22 attempts. That's really good. He had a -2, a -1, and then a -2. Every time he got the ball, again, this is 2 weeks in a row, it looked like he was going to hit a home run, So let's go to receiving, where Tre also was your leader. 5 catches on 5 targets for 80 yards. This guy is a serious weapon out of the backfield. If we can keep him healthy for the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 10 weeks, whatever, this is a game changer, because he is too fast. Like our guy Ross Tucker said during the game, he is a destroyer of angles, meaning when he has the ball and you're a defender, there is no right angle. He's gone. He's too freaking fast for you. So he had the big 65-yarder in the 4th quarter. So almost got in the end zone on that one. But overall, 80 yards total. Some key runs here, or receptions. So very, very, very much a difference maker. Emeka, 4 catches on 5 targets, 29 yards. Got to find the sticks, man. On 3rd and long, you got to know where you're at. Still knocking off the rust. He'll be back. Marv, obviously a slow day for him. I've got 8 targets, 4 completions. Did have the 2 touchdowns, but only 25 yards total. Only a few yak yards. What else do we have here for receivers? Targets. Emeka, 5, 4 catches. G. Scott filling in for Cade. Had a nice touchdown catch down there on the right sideline, right off that defender's shoulder. But anyway, G had 4 targets, 3 catches, 24 yards, the touch. Carnell Tate, 2 for 2, 31 yards. And Fleming, 0 for 1 with his one, obligatory drop that he's going to have every week. X-Man, just 1 for 1. Wanted to check out yak yardage. Oh, yeah, slot. They didn't move Marv around a lot. I know he only had the 7 or 8 targets, but 7, which compares to his 15 that he's had in the past couple of weeks. Not a lot. But he did only line up in the slot 3 times. I thought that was noticeable, where they had been moving him around a lot throughout the year. And forced missed tackles, TreVeyon 3, just in receiving alone. That's huge. I did want to go back to that for Trey on his rushing stats. Forced missed tackles. Oh, this one's interesting. 4 carries of 10-plus yards and 2 of 15-plus yards for Trey. 56 yards after contact. Huge day. It's hard to believe he just had the 1 touchdown. It seemed like he had more, but forced missed tackles. He had 6 just in the running game. So add 3 from the receiving. That's a huge day for a running back. 9 missed tackles. Receivers usually don't get too many missed tackles, of course, but X-Man had 1 in there. Chip didn't really do much in the running game. 2 rushes, 6 yards. Xavier 1 for 5. Mecca 1 for 4. So still kind of distributing their things there. We only had 9 possessions, too. You got to keep that in mind. So we didn't run as many plays as we typically would. So let's go to the blocking, the O-line. Pass blocking, we'll start with Donovan Jackson graded out an 86.2. Matthew Jones a 79.7. Trey, a good day in pass pro, 74.8. See, this is what Trey brings to the table. He has all of the weapons you need, and he will pass protect. X-Man, Chip just had a couple. Now we're getting down in here. Josh Fryer, 63.4. He allowed a pressure and a hit on the quarterback. Josh Simmons, 58.4. Carson Hinsman, 42.8. Hinsman is a big problem. I'm sure we don't have anybody else that can play center, but he allowed 3 pressures of his own. Simmons allowed a hit on the quarterback, and a hurry, by the way. These guys are grading out below average. Fryer, Simmons, Hinsman. You can't have that from your tackles. It is imperative that the tackles stop the DNs. It's so frustrating. Anyway, run blocking. Donovan Jackson again. So Donovan had his best day of the season, 89.5 in run blocking. Josh Simmons, now this is another one of those Jekyll and Hyde scenarios. Josh Simmons, 79.2, second best grade in run blocking. But he was at the bottom of the pass blocking grades. It's fucking mind-blowing, man. Matthew Jones, 68.2, not bad. Josh Fryer, 67.6. So, yeah, and you saw it on screen, just watching the game, without even telling you these grades. You could see Trey was getting outside, and they were moving dudes off the ball. But still, you got Carson Hinsman, the worst O lineman here, 56.5, not getting it done. Still extremely frustrating with Hinsman, graded out terribly in both run and pass blocking. So we got to get this approved. I don't know how. Justin Fry, it's on you. I don't know. I don't have answers, but it's not like we're going to go and fire the offensive line coach in week or game 9, week 10. So we just got to learn to manage it, really. Anyways, that's all I got for you today. Oh, last thing on the O-line. Josh Simmons, you might want to not leave early on every single snap. You will get called for it. If you watch Josh Simmons most games, it's easy to see he's the left tackle closest to the camera typically, especially for away games. He is leaving early every fucking snap, especially pass blocking. He's leaving early. It's really frustrating. Fortunately, he got away with a couple on this past Saturday, but he did give one early, leaving early penalty. So that's all I got for you today. Talking defense tomorrow. Appreciate you guys. Hit me up in the comments. Hit me up. Email me, joe@thebuckeyecast.com. And if you're listening on podcast, hey, pop in there, follow the show, subscribe to it, whatever app you're using. I really appreciate it. Talk to you later. Go Bucks.